I didn't think she would come back that early. That's the part I keep replaying. Not what I was wearing. Not even the way I froze when I heard the shutter. Just that one thought, over and over. She said she'd be gone for the night. That's why I said yes. My aunt owns a small boutique on the ground floor of an older market block. Nothing fancy from outside, just a narrow glass front, a metal shutter, a fading sign with her name on it, and warm yellow lights she always leaves on near the mirrors, so the place still looks alive even after closing. I'd been there 100 times before, helping carry stock, moving boxes, fixing hangers, sweeping the floor when one of her girls didn't show up. So when she called me that night, it didn't feel like a big deal. It was already late. I was home, half lying in bed, phone in my hand, not really doing anything. Then her name showed up. She never calls that late unless she needs help. I picked up, and she sounded rushed. She said, "Can you do me a favor? I left a parcel at the shop. It's the one wrapped in brown paper near the counter. I need it dropped with the night pickup guy, or he'll miss it." I sat up. I asked, "Now?" She said, "Please, I'm already on the other side of town, and I'm not making it back tonight. You have the spare key, right?" I did. Then she added, almost casually, "Just lock up properly when you leave." That was it. Nothing strange, nothing important in the way she said it. I threw on a hoodie, took the keys from the bowl near the door, and went. The roads were mostly empty by then. One tea stall still open, a couple of bikes passing, the kind of late-night quiet where everything feels smaller than it does during the day. When I got to the boutique, the whole lane looked asleep. Most of the shutters were already down. Her shop was dark behind the grill except for that soft yellow light in the back, exactly how she leaves it. I unlocked the outer gate. Then the shutter lock, lifted it just enough to step under, and let it fall back down behind me. The sound echoed more than I expected. Inside, it was quiet in a different way, softer, like the room was holding its breath. There's something about our boutique at night that never feels the same in daylight. In the day, it's busy and practical. Women talking, hangers clicking, fabric sliding across the counter, her voice calling out blouse sizes from the back room. But at night, with no one there, it feels almost private, too private. The kind of quiet that makes you notice things you usually pretend not to notice. The mirrors, the folded dupattas, the half-button mannequins, the dresses hanging in color, order like they've been waiting all day for someone to really look at them. I found the parcel right away. Brown paper, twine tied around it, sitting near the billing counter, just where she said. I could have picked it up and left in under a minute. That's what I should have done. Instead, I stood there. I don't know how to explain it in a way that sounds normal, but the second I was alone in that place, I felt my whole body change, not dramatically, just softer. Like some part of me that usually stays tense all day suddenly realized no one was watching. My aunt's boutique always did that to me, even when I was younger. I used to come there during school holidays and pretend I was helping, but really I was always aware of the clothes, the textures, the fall of fabric, the careful way things were pinned, folded, adjusted. I used to notice details I wasn't supposed to notice. Which sleeve felt light, which material made sound when it moved, which colors felt too bright in your hand but looked gentle in the mirror. I never said any of that out loud. I don't think I even had words for it back then. I just knew being there made me feel something I had to hide. that night, standing alone in that yellow light, it all came back too fast. I set the parcel down on the counter. Just for a second, I told myself. Just to look around, that's all. I walked slowly past the racks, touching nothing at first. Then one hanger, then another. My fingers moved over a sleeve without thinking. Then a softer one. Then a heavier fabric with beadwork on the edge. The air smelled like starch, perfume samples, steam and cloth, clean and warm, familiar in a way that made my chest feel strange. There was one piece hanging near the trial room area, probably set aside for alteration. A simple one, not loud, not flashy, soft fabric, muted color, the kind of thing nobody would think twice about on anyone else. I remember looking toward the shutter, even though I knew it was down. Then I looked toward the back room, then at the mirrors, and I told myself the same lie people always tell right before they cross a line. Just a minute, no one's coming. I took it off the hanger. Even then, my hands were shaking more than they should have been. Not because I thought I'd get caught, because it already felt too real. There's a difference between imagining something and standing there with it in your hands. I stepped into the trial room with the curtain half open because closing it completely somehow felt more dangerous. I set my hoodie aside. I could hear my own breathing, louder than anything else in the shop. When I pulled the fabric on, everything in me went still. That always happened first. Not excitement, not relief exactly, just stillness, like noise dropping out. I looked down at myself, and for 1 second, I didn't correct anything, didn't pull away, didn't laugh at myself, didn't rush. I just stood there. Then I looked in the mirror, and that part is hard to talk about, because it wasn't about looking perfect. It wasn't even about looking convincing. It was just that for a moment, standing there under those soft lights, with that fabric falling the way it was meant to fall. I didn't feel split in two. I felt close to something quiet, something I only ever let exist in locked rooms. I adjusted the shoulder a little, smoothed the side with my palm, turned slightly. The smallest movement made the fabric respond, and that tiny thing alone was enough to make my heart pound. It almost felt normal. That was the dangerous part. Not thrilling, normal. Like I had stepped into a version of myself that had been waiting patiently all this time, asking for almost nothing except a little privacy and one uninterrupted minute. I don't know how long I stood there. Maybe 2 minutes, maybe less. Long enough to forget myself, long enough to believe the night would hold. Then I heard it. Metal. A sudden violent rattle against metal, so sharp it didn't even sound real at first. The shutter. I stopped breathing. Every part of me locked up at once. There's a very specific kind of fear that hits when you've already gone too far to pretend you haven't. It's not panic right away. It's this blank, icy pause where your body refuses to understand what your ears just heard. Then the second sound came, the scrape of the shutter lifting from outside. Not all the way, just enough to unlock. My stomach dropped so hard it hurt. No. I grabbed for my hoodie first, then dropped it, then grabbed it again. My fingers wouldn't work properly. The hanger hit the floor with a small plastic crack that sounded insanely loud in the silence. The shutter rolled up higher. I heard keys, then footsteps, inside. Actual footsteps inside the boutique. I couldn't move. I was still dressed. That's the detail that keeps staying with me. Not half-dressed, not almost changed, not fixing it, not covering it, still dressed. I stood there in front of the mirror with my hoodie twisted in one hand, and all I could hear were those footsteps coming across the floor I had walked on 100 times before. Slow, familiar, not a stranger. Her. My aunt didn't call out at first. That somehow made it worse. If she had said my name from the front, maybe I could have answered, maybe warned her, maybe hidden behind something stupid, like that would help. But she said nothing. I heard the counter drawer open, a bag being set down, then those footsteps again, closer now, toward the trial room area. I think my body finally remembered how to breathe, because I took one shallow breath, and it caught in my throat. The curtain was half open. I hadn't even closed it. I remember staring at that gap, like it had betrayed me. Then her shadow moved across it, and then she was there. Not all the way inside, just there, at the edge of the opening. She looked in and saw me. I still don't know exactly what my face looked like in that moment. I know what it felt like. Hot, cold, sick, hollow, every bad feeling at once. Shame arriving before words, fear arriving before thought. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Then I tried again, and all I managed was, that was it. Just one broken word. She didn't react the way I had imagined people react in nightmares. No gasp, no sharp question, no what is this, nothing like that. She just stood there with one hand still holding her keys, looking at me in the mirror before looking at me directly. Not for too long, just long enough. Long enough to tell me she had seen everything clearly. Then her eyes dropped for a second to the hanger on the floor, then to my hoodie in my hand, then back to my face, and still she said nothing. That silence was unbearable. I almost wished she would be angry, or confused, or say something careless I could spend years blaming, instead of this silence, because silence leaves you with yourself. I remember pulling the hoodie against my chest, like it could somehow cover the whole moment. My lips were shaking. I hated that she could probably see that. And then finally, she spoke. But not about what I was wearing. Not about why. Not about why. She only said very calmly, "The parcel is the one near the register. He'll come in 10 minutes. That was it." Her voice was steady, almost normal, which made it even harder to stand there. I looked at her like I hadn't understood. She gave the smallest nod toward the front counter, like she was just reminding me of the reason I came. Then she stepped back from the curtain, not rushing me, not staring, just stepping back, giving me space I hadn't earned. I changed so fast, my hands hurt afterward. I could barely get my hoodie on straight. My ears were burning. My thoughts were worse than useless, all running into each other. I kept expecting her to say something from the front of the shop. She didn't. When I came out, she was near the counter, fixing a stack of folded fabric that didn't need fixing. I picked up the parcel. Couldn't look at her. She didn't force me to. The whole boutique felt different now. Smaller somehow. Not safe, not unsafe either. Just changed. Like the room had watched something happen and would never go back to being only a room again. The pickup guy came, took the parcel, left. I thought maybe after that she'd finally turn to me and ask. She didn't. Instead, she switched off one of the backlights, checked the receipt book, and adjusted the strap of her bag on her shoulder. Then she walked to the shutter and waited. That was when I finally looked at her. She looked tired, not shocked, not cold, just tired, in a quiet way. I couldn't read. I wanted to explain. I wanted to say it wasn't what she thought. Except I didn't even know what she thought. I wanted to say I didn't plan it, though some part of me probably had the second I said yes to coming there alone. I wanted to say I'd never done this in her shop before. Instead, I just stood there holding my own hands too tightly. She lifted the shutter halfway and said, "Come on," and that was all. We stepped out into the lane. She locked the shutter herself this time. The metal slammed down with a final sound that made me flinch. She noticed that. I know she noticed. But again, she said nothing. We walked to the corner together where our ways split. No traffic, no conversation. Just our footsteps and the distant noise of one scooter passing somewhere behind us. At the corner, she stopped. I stopped too. For 1 second, I thought this was it. This was where she would finally turn to me and say the thing that would decide what happened after. Instead, she only looked at my face for a moment, then reached out and brushed a loose thread off my sleeve. Such a small thing, almost nothing. Then she said, "You forgot to lock the inside latch when you came in." I stared at her. That was all she chose to mention. Not the dress, not the mirror, not the fact that she had seen me standing there like that, under her lights, just the latch. Then she walked away. I stood there for a long time after she left. And the strangest part is that silence didn't end that night. She never brought it up. Not the next day, not the week after, not even later when I came by the boutique again and she handed me tea like always and asked me to move 2 boxes from the back. Nothing changed on the surface, and that almost made it worse, because now every time I'm there, I wonder what exactly she saw, how much she understood, whether her silence was mercy or permission or just love in a form I wasn't ready for. I still don't know. I only know that sometimes when I help her close up, she leaves the trial room curtain half open, and I never know if that means nothing or everything.